Hello and welcome to our presentation on how to be successful in the Faculty of Science at the University of Manitoba. My name is Paul Friesen. I'm one of the advisors here in the faculty. The University of Manitoba campuses are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories and acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. The Faculty of Science is the largest faculty at the U of M with over 6,500 undergraduate students, and we have 7 departments and over 30 programs in those departments. So the 7 departments are biological sciences, chemistry, computer science, mathematics, microbiology, physics and astronomy, and statistics. We also have a number of interdepartmental programs. So we have biochemistry run together with chemistry and microbiology. One of our newer programs, data science, is run jointly between computer science, mathematics, and statistics. And genetics is run jointly between biology and microbiology. In addition, we have programs in cooperation with other faculties, and those include actuarial mathematics, which is run jointly with Asper School of Business in the Faculty of Science, and our degree in psychology, which is run jointly with the Faculty of Arts and the Faculty of Science. So these are the programs offered through the Faculty of Science. Our honors degree and major programs, you focus on a particular topic, such as a major in psychology or an honors in microbiology. The first one up there, the BCSC, is a Bachelor of Computer Science honors. And our honors programs are our most direct route to a graduate program and do require you to be a full-time student. Major degrees require a minimum GPA of 2.0 or 2.5 for computer science. Honors requires a 3.0 GPA or a 3.5 for psychology. And then we have our general degree, which is a 90 credit hour or 3-year degree, and it's a great stepping stone for entry into other programs. For example, for students targeting medicine or law or education to get the general knowledge base without any specializations. So students that have been admitted as direct entry to the Faculty of Science are automatically placed in something called an undeclared major. This gives you the opportunity to test drive different areas of science before declaring. So you want to think about what are your interests. You can take that first year, sometimes 2, to explore different areas that you're interested in, and all those courses can be used in a degree. Once you've completed 24 to 30 credit hours, you'd be eligible to declare for a major program. And many students end up changing their mind as to what major they might think they want to come into when they're going to university, and that's definitely all right. So beyond the GPA requirements that previously mentioned, each of our majors and honors degree will have specific courses that you need to take before you can declare into the major. So this is an example from the academic calendar for someone targeting a major degree in computer science. You can see that you need that degree GPA of 2.5 I mentioned, and then also to obtain a minimum grade of C+ in Computer Science 1020, and a C+ in Math 1300, Math 1240, and then a C in Math 1700. And although these degrees are listed in the academic calendar as 3 or 4 years, the average time to completion is usually more like 5 years, sometimes more. Reasons for that could be students change their mind, they don't take a full course load, or students repeat a course. It's perfectly fine to take longer than the 3 or 4 years mentioned in the academic calendar, and there is no time limit in how quick you need to do the degree. Once you've completed the required courses, the number of credit hours, and the GPA for the major or honors degree that you're targeting, you could be eligible to declare into the program that you wish. If it's a major and you're in the undeclared major, then after you meet those requirements, you can declare into the major using Aurora. If you need a little more time to think about what you're going to do, you can go into the general degree to explore things a little bit longer. And if you want to declare into the general degree or move from a major to an honors, there's a form on our website to do this. And it's also okay to be in one major and change your mind later and then declare into another major, as long as you meet the entrance requirements to the major you want to change into. You're not stuck in a particular program once you've made that declaration. You may be interested in a career or education for what you first need a degree, and you'll be targeting those professional programs after. So examples could be education, medicine, law, veterinary medicine, optometry, respiratory therapy, pharmacy. For each of these programs, if it's offered at the University of Manitoba, there'll be an admission bulletin. If it's something that's not offered here, like optometry or veterinary medicine, then you need to go to those universities and see what their entrance requirements are. And the first year planning guide also goes over the courses for many of these professional programs. You can also talk to an advisor to see how the requirements for the professional programs can also be used in a science degree. And just because the prereqs of science courses does not mean that you need to do a science degree. So applying to professional programs can be competitive, and it's important to ask ourselves, well, what happens if we don't get into the program of our choice? And that's where we like to talk about parallel planning. Kind of like the tree you see there, you're coming up from one stalk, but you can branch out in different directions. And there's many degrees, many career options that you might not be aware of. So pick courses that can fit into both the professional program you're targeting and also one of our majors. Or maybe if you're targeting something like medicine and plan on doing a 3-year general degree, make sure you pick courses that could also translate into a major degree. So if you want to make that change before you graduate so that you can graduate with a major, you can think of parallel planning as keeping another door open. If you know the program or degree you're first targeting doesn't work out, and this can help to avoid those feelings of anxiety and panic. You know, when you find one door closing, if you have some other options available to you. If you have not yet registered for your courses, then the first year planning guide is a great resource to help determine your course load, plan your courses, and with tools and tips on how to register. There's also definitions there for a lot of the jargon that we use on the day-to-day basis at the U of M. So what is a credit hour, revision periods, what's a VW? They have a good list of all the courses that first-year students have available for them to take. The first-year planning guide also has these grids that looks at students directly targeting program, the courses to take. These are based on a full course load, 5 courses a term in the fall and 5 in the winter. You don't need to take that many. For first year students, we often recommend starting with just 3 or 4 courses to get used to that transition of learning in a high school environment to learning in a university environment. It's going to list the intro courses that you need. This is an example of genetics. And you can see that it lists Bio 1020, Bio 1030, and then the intro chemistry courses. These are all the recommended courses for your first year, but to get into genetics, you only need the biology 1030 and the chemistry 1110. The rest of the courses can be taken later as long as you have the 24 credit hours before declaring into the program. This will also show the different options you can take for certain math courses, statistics courses. So the first one here would be the first recommended course, but students could also in its place take Math 1230, Math 1510, Math 1524. The same thing for the statistics and then choosing one of these maths. If you're not going to be taking a full course load, then you're going to pick which courses that you don't need to take to first declare into your chosen major, and you can take those courses later. So to figure out which courses you need to take to declare into the major, we need to look at something called the academic calendar. And if you recall the slide I had earlier with the computer science, it showed which courses students need to first declare into the major. So that's where the academic calendar is where that was from. And for each of our programs, it will show the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 courses students need before they declare into the major that they're targeting. It's also the rule book for everything at the University of Manitoba. It feeds directly into the first year planning guide, so that's where they get those graphs from. The academic calendar also feeds directly into an audit program that we call Achieve. And there are some tutorial videos to teach you how to run those audits and learn how they work. What they do is they'll take all the program requirements listed in the academic calendar, and they'll show the courses that you're enrolled in, and once you complete those courses, what you've taken, and then what you still need to take in the degree. And it will include all the different, if there's multiple math options or other course options, they'll all be included there. It's a really handy way to keep track of your degree, to see what you've done, what you still need to do. If you have any transfer credit from another institution, if you have AP courses or IB courses, they're going to show up there as well. And it's also done in real time. So if you, as soon as you register in course, it's going to show there. If you drop a course and add another course, it's going to instantaneously change your audits. You can always run new audits. As a new student, you can try different types of audits. So you can try out an audit for a biology program, a chemistry program. You can add minors. You can try programs in other faculties. And then we have the program Aurora, which is the program you're going to use to register for your courses. It's also where you see the schedule of courses available. Registration is really 3 easy steps, but you got to put some thought into those steps. And make sure you look at the times, locations, the days of the week that everything is offered. If this is your first year, registration access is going to be earlier than everybody else. Make sure you take advantage of that and register as soon as possible so that you can get into the lecture sections, the lab sections that are your first choice. And if you don't, it's important to have some backup options available so that if the first ones don't work out, that you can register right away. You also want to use Aurora to make sure that your high school grades are loaded, and because you'll need some of those prerequisites to register in the courses that you wish to take. Students are able to register for both the fall term and the winter term at the same time. Classes are going to be offered either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday courses are 50-minute classes, and then Tuesday, Thursday are 75-minute classes because they're only twice a week. It's the same amount of instruction time per week in the end. We do use the letter R to indicate Thursday, so we don't have the 2 T's. And then if your courses also have a lecture section, for example, Bio 1020, you're going to register for a lecture and a lab at the exact same time. Aurora's not going to let you register for one without the other. Labs can range from a 3-hour slot once a week to a 50-minute slot once a week. It depends on the course. And then if there's any distance sections, of course they won't be according to this timetable. They'll be kind of at your own pace. And this planning guide comes from the first year planning guide, so you can also enter courses there as well. The maximum amount of courses you can do in a term is 5, and that's 15 credit hours. A course that runs once per term in the fall or the winter is 3 credit hours. If it's a course that's going to run through the whole year, so both in the fall and the winter, it's 6 credit hours, and that's what we call a spanned course. So this here is a student that has an example that's registered in 4 courses. Psych 1200, and that one's a span course, 6 credit hours going the whole year. And they're taking Bio 1020. We can see it's lecture section on a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's lab section that they picked on a Thursday afternoon. And then we got marketing as well as a distance course in philosophy. And then the next term, they are in the next biology course at 1030. So biology 1020, you need to take biology 1030. So when they registered for bio 1020. And then as soon as they were registered in bio 1020, they could register in bio 1030 for the winter. Aurora will recognize that. And then you can see the other courses, they're registered in the winter term as well. This time we have a lab section for stats that's a bit shorter than the lab section for biology. And so you may have noticed in that timetable we just looked at, there was a lot of space in between a lot of the courses, maybe compared to a student in high school. But it's important to know in university that a lot more independent study, learning, doing assignments is expected. So you can expect for every hour of classroom instruction to do about 2 hours of independent learning. If you do the math on that, a student taking 4 courses can be doing over 30 hours a week. So it very quickly becomes like a full-time job. So when you're making your timetable, it's important to think about time management, what your other commitments are. Are you going to be working part-time? If so, how many hours? Do you have any volunteer opportunities, any family responsibilities? So it's important to remember with all the time that you're going to be dedicating towards your studies that you yourself are also a priority, and it's important to make sure that we manage that as well. Things can be challenging, definitely, especially in your first year, and it's important to think about how to cope with those challenges. Often if we feel a lot of stress or anxiety, we can first feel those things in our body, so it's important to listen to your body. Always remember to exercise and eat well. I'm sure you've heard that advice all your life, but it really does help with your ability to concentrate and write assignments, pay attention in class. Go for a walk in between classes. You'll have access to the Active Living Center as part of your tuition. It's a great place to go. They have exercise classes, they have weight room equipment, track, there's a pool, there's intramural sports. Also social activities is really important for our mental health, but also balancing that with your studies, because we have students that can go too far in either direction. So balance is kind of the key there. And making sure you get lots of rest and sleep. So, cramming for an exam, 2 days before and not sleeping doesn't necessarily translate into writing a good exam. If you haven't slept, it's really hard to then remember the things that you learned. And then also for seeking help when you need it. And we're going to talk about where you can seek help at the University of Manitoba. So successful students often get involved in things outside of classes, and employers and professional programs are really looking for a variety of experience, not just the academics. In the Faculty of Science, we have for each of those 7 departments, I mentioned earlier, there is a club, and there's also other student groups offered through UMSU that are great for meeting other students that you have similar interests. Just some example of the clubs through UMSU: they have social justice, politics, spirituality, cultural clubs, environmental, swing dance, sports and rec, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's over 150 different groups. And there's also some professional groups beyond the departmental ones, like undergraduate leaders in healthcare, or for computer science, there's Dev Club and Women in Computer Science. There's also lots of volunteer opportunities throughout campus, specifically for our faculty. There's In the picture there, that's Let's Talk Science, and a similar one would be Science Rendezvous in the spring, where you take your skills that you're learning in science to introduce it to the next generation. There's also student exchange opportunities available where you can go learn in another country, and mentorship programs, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And then there is the Science Student Association, which is your student council and works with the U of M Students Union, or UMSU. They plan lots of activities throughout the year and provide services to students, like if you're going to rent a locker, if you're going to rent a lab coat. They have their own tutoring program, which we'll talk about shortly. There's a student lounge available that they run. And they also have community reps that you might want to consider running for. That's just also a great experience that you can put on your resume for thinking later down the road. The Science Students Association also has a list on their website of all the departmental groups. They are BUGS for biology, MISC for microbiology, UMS Square for statistics, Chem Club, I'm guessing you can guess, is for chemistry, Eigen Club for math, Opus for physics and astronomy, and the Computer Science Student Association for computer science. So for every course you register in, there's going to be something called a syllabus, and that's going to tell you how each test and assignment is weighted, and you can calculate your standing in the course, throughout the term. Make sure you pay attention to these deadlines and you're standing in the course, so the grades do matter, and you're going to be assessed at the end of each term. We say the minimum standard is a 2.0 GPA, which is a C average. Make sure you write all your tests, do all your assignments, maintain academic activity, ask for help if needed, and then there's always something called a voluntary withdrawal deadline, and that's where you can drop the course and there won't be any penalty towards your grades. It's not going to affect your GPA or anything like that. And a lot of students, coming from high school, especially those who've been admitted direct entry to the faculty, a C average might seem lower than they're used to. And there's going to be students who come who do quite well, and students who did well in high school and end up more of an average student, and then some who also will not quite make that minimum standard. And we're going to talk about the different tools available to make sure that you're meeting that minimum standard and hopefully higher. So the transition to learning in a university environment compared to high school, isn't always smooth, and it's important to take advantage of all the resources that you have available. So the Academic Learning Center is an office dedicated to helping with that transition and also helping students while they're a student here at the U of M throughout their program. The first thing we have there, the study skills tutors and workshops. Those are really for learning how to be a student in a university environment. The workshops run throughout the term in both the fall and the winter, and they have topics like creating a university study schedule, preventing procrastination, preparing for midterms, preparing for finals. And they also have study skills tutors and also other tools on their website to help, especially with those first terms at the U of M. And then every course every degree at the U of M is going to require a W course or a written course where you're going to need to write essays. And especially if writing essays isn't your strong suit, or just getting used to writing essays in the university environment, take advantage of the writing tutors and writing workshops that they have through the Academic Learning Center. They are free, and they've been included in your tuition. There's something they have on their website called supplementary instruction, where they'll list dates for particular courses that are notoriously very challenging for first-year students. An example would be Introductory Chemistry 1 and 2. And so aside from the classroom instruction, you can go there up to 5 days a week if you want, and they'll follow the topics throughout the course as they happen to get you extra help in understanding the content. Then we have free content tutors, both through the Academic Learning Center and offered through the Science Student Association that I mentioned earlier. So these tutors would be specific for your certain courses. So for example, if you wanted a tutor in Biology 1020, the intro biology course, then you would go to their websites and they have a section there for booking a tutor. The Science Student Association books their tutors through an app called Nimbus that you download onto your phone. There's also the help centers for math and statistics. They are open 5 days a week in the fall and the winter, usually from 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and they have graduate students and undergraduate students that have done really well in their math and statistics courses, and whatever math or stats course you're taking, you can go there for extra assistance. There's also talking to your profs in their syllabus. They will list their office hours. So especially if there isn't a specific content tutor, if it's not a math course with the help center, then talking to your prof about where you can get extra assistance or maybe help understanding. And also if there's a TA in the course, a teaching assistant, they're also a great resource to speak with. We also have the Faculty of Science Advising Office at 230 McRae Hall. There's front desk service for especially if you need help with registration. Maybe you want to change your lab section and don't want to drop the course and then re-register because you don't want to lose spot in the course because it's full. That's where you want to come to our office to make those changes. And then if you want to have a sit-down appointment with an academic advisor to go more in depth about your program, that you can either go to our website and make an appointment. There'll be a blue button there. It says Science Academic Advising. We have appointments both in person and virtually, and those appointments are up to 30 minutes. We also have drop-in appointments available on a first-come, first-served basis. If you're going to be coming to our office for registration help or a drop-in appointment, you're first going to have to get in line or get in the queue with the Waitwell app. There's a QR code that you can scan. There's also on our website that you can put yourself in the queue, before you arrive. You'll get notifications by text, when we're ready to serve you. And then if you need to be transferred to another office, like the registrar's office or IST, that's for, IT support or help, or University One, the first year center, we can transfer you to those offices as well. I also recommend that all students download the Safe app that's available on all Android and Apple devices. So there's a lot of different tools and functions with this app. I'm just going to talk about a couple of the key ones. So the first would be safety notifications in case there's an emergency on campus. I think everyone can agree you want to know as quickly as possible if there's an emergency, and if you need to do anything, go somewhere else to get off campus and keep yourself safe. There's also a panic button, or the mobile blue light, where if you're in an emergency situation yourself or not feeling safe, you push the button and it'll send your location to our security services in real time, and someone from security services does need to come to that location and see what's going on and make sure that everything is all right. We all know it can get quite dark quite early in the winter time, and if you're staying after class to study, or maybe you have an evening class and it's time to walk to your car, or to another building, and maybe you're not feeling safe, you can also use the app to request a safe walk and ride, and someone from security services will accompany you to your car or other location. Not everyone's comfortable with people in uniform, so if you're not comfortable with that, you can also use the app for the friend walk, which sends your location to a friend, and then your friend can track your location in real time to ensure you make it safely to your destination. Right, and then just planting the seed for the future, there is something called Science Co-op, which is an additional option that you would need to apply for. There would be an interview process for it. Having some work experience ahead of time looks good when if co-op is something you want to do or volunteer experience. You complete 3 co-op work terms with paid work experience, and this gives you experience to try out different jobs in the field that you're studying and also build, a professional network. We do have programs for most programs in science. The 2 exceptions would be actuarial and honors psychology, but all the other majors and honors programs would have co-op as an option. So the academic calendar will say the requirements for co-op for each particular major or honors. The earliest applies after 54 credit hours, so at least 2 years, and then there could be some particular courses that they require. Science Co-op posts an information session every year in the winters. The last one was January 31st, so if you're interested in co-op, even as a first-year student, I highly encourage attending their co-op information session to see what it's all about, and they'll make those announcements on the Science Co-op website. Career Services is another office on campus in University Center. I highly encourage most students to visit, and they're not just there for students graduating. They are there to meet with students who are brand new to the university or in the middle of their program or graduating, and they're experts at looking at your interests and your values, your goals, your favorite subjects, what you excel at, and see how they would work in the real world, and make sure that the program you're targeting fit the type of work that is right for you. They also run career fairs throughout the year based on science, healthcare, and then just the general U of M career fair. They run a mentorship program that I had mentioned earlier, so especially if you have an interest in a particular program, I use bioinformatics as a good example. Their mentorship program is another program that you would apply for, and they would have a deadline on their website, and then you get set up with that mentor that you meet with on a regular basis from September to the end of April. They run the UM Connect program for applying for any jobs on campus. If you're going to do co-op, that's also where you'd apply for the co-op positions that you'd be targeting. And they also have a neat tool on their website called Career Compass if you want to do some of your own research to see the type of careers that match up with the different majors offered through our faculty and also offered through other faculties. And there's a lot of other support offices on campus. I'm not going to go through them all with this video. One I'm going to briefly mention will be University Health Services. Unfortunately, it's not always the easiest to get a family doctor, but as a student at the University of Manitoba, you're guaranteed a family doctor at University Health Services. So they're located on the first floor of University Center. And another office I'll mention is Student Accessibility Services for any students with a diagnosed either physical or mental health concern. You can meet with their office, and there'd be a form to get filled out from your doctor, and then there can be different accommodations that you might qualify for. And the Student Counseling Center, I just want to mention because there's going to be a lot of challenges, stress, anxiety, depression, and other things that can come up. And the Student Counseling Center has both one-on-one counselors that can meet with students enrolled in courses, and also groups along different themes where you meet on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with a leader along with other students that are maybe experiencing the same challenges. Finally, we have the Office of Financial Aids and Awards that administers all the scholarships, bursaries, and other programs at the University of Manitoba. Entrance scholarships are automatically considered based on an 80% average from your high school grades. And then if you have a scholarship, you need to maintain a course load of 80% in the fall and the winter terms. that would be 12 credit hours a term or 4 courses a term. Bursaries require you to have a 60% course load, so that would be 3 courses a term or 9 credit hours a term in both the fall and winter. Again, the summer isn't a required term for scholarships and bursaries. For scholarships, the U of M is looking at how well you do in your courses. It's based on grades and assessment. Bursaries are based on financial need. To qualify for a bursary, you first need to have a government student loan. If you're an international student, there's also international student awards. For demonstrated financial need, there's also the work-study program where you can be set up with work opportunities on campus to earn the extra money you need to go along with while you're doing your studies. And food bank use is up across the country of Canada in the last couple of years, and the U of M community is no exception there. We do have our own food bank at the University of Manitoba, and if that's something that you need, then it's there for you. And if that's not something you need, then you can consider donating to the U of M food bank. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. So we're looking forward to seeing you soon in September. And if you have any, more questions, make sure you reach out to the different offices that we mentioned, or make an appointment with an academic advisor. All the best.